Good morning, hello, my name is Lisa, welcome back to my channel, and today I am doing another make and bake. That seemed to go down really well with you guys last time, so I thought I would do another today, and I am going to be baking this apple cake. It is amazing. I shared it with a couple of friends recently and they loved it, and another actually has made it a second time since. I've got a friend coming for breakfast today. It is currently 7:45. She's coming at 9, so I figured that when a friend comes for breakfast, cake is totally acceptable, right? Especially when it's apple, because it's obviously healthier. So I am going to be making this apple cake for breakfast. It does have a story behind it. At Lollipop Box Club this month, we are talking stories and documenting, journaling, all that kind of thing. This one has a really good story, but I'll share that a bit later when I actually come to the creating. I'm thinking I might actually create inside my recipe journal. I was going to do it inside my traveler's notebook, but I might actually do it in my recipe journal. I haven't decided yet, but I need to make this cake because Claire is coming for 9 o'clock. Oh, it says Claire's apple cake on there. And this book is part of the story as well, which I will be sharing later. But Louis needs to go to school. I need to fix his lunch. He should be coming down for breakfast, and I really, really need to get this cake in the oven. I wanted it to be nice and warm for when Claire comes, but chances are it might still be in the oven, so I really, really need to get cracking. If you are new to my channel, I love creating, I love baking, I love cooking, I like organizing, all that kind of thing. I love Disney. If you like some, all those things, please do subscribe to my channel and let me know which bits of those are your favorites, because I just love them all. Let me know which are your favorites. I've just combined the flour, baking powder, sugar, salt and cinnamon into this mixing bowl. I'm just mixing it through. I will leave the recipe below so you can see it. You can just see the tips of my new plant. I bought this in Next. I'm quite pleased with that. Added a little bit of colour to the kitchen. Now I'm going to go on to mixing the wet stuff. I've now beaten the egg and the milk and the melted butter together, and I'm going to add this to the dry mixture. It's one of those really easy recipes where I call it a throw it all in, but you mix the dry first and then the wet, and then mix them together. I've finely sliced up, I've got 3 small apples. Recipe says 2 cups. I've got 3 small apples there, and they are just like little fine slices, and I'm adding that to the wet mixture, which I'll then mix up and add to my tin. I'm using a round tin with a loose bottom, which is greased, and I'm going to add this to the tin now. And the cinnamon gives it that lovely kind of browny caramelly colour. You then do something special. This is what makes this cake special. You mix together butter, brown sugar, flour and cinnamon, and you get this lovely kind of sugary gooey mixture. This is what really, really sets this cake aside from other cakes. Now it says in the recipe to sprinkle. As you can see, you cannot sprinkle that, so it's a case of dolloping it over the top of the cake. And then as this cooks, it just forms a really kind of crusty, gooey caramelliness to the cake, and it's just amazing. And the topping on there is that sugary mixture. It goes in the oven now for about 25 to 30 minutes, and I've got it on 190. Another friend of mine tried this out quite some time ago now, and she actually baked hers in a really deep glass pie dish, and it was so nice with that topping. You could like almost see the layers and see the apple underneath. It looked really, really pretty. I have done mine in like a ceramic pie dish before and served it out with like ice cream or as dessert, but today, as Claire's coming over, I want it to look like a proper cake, and hopefully it will come out nicely and go onto a cake stand. So I am recording this now a few days later. The cake was amazing, so much so that we ate it before I actually photographed it. So I've had to do this video in 2 stages. I have just baked another cake, and I'm going to show you that cake now, and then I am going to be creating something for the recipe, like a recipe card, but in my new kitchen planner. So I'm going to take you over and show you the finished cake, which is absolutely amazing. So this is the finished cake. What I love about it is It's really crunchy on the top, and then it's so gooey, almost like a cinnamon kind of caramel inside. And then you've got the chunks of apple as well, but it is like a 2-layered cake. It's so delicious. And there you can really see that kind of the extra topping that you put on top there, the cinnamony mixture. It's really, really good. And I highly recommend that you eat the cake while still warm. I took it out the oven and it was still really gooey on top, and it was actually, some of it was kind of running a little bit. It's so, so delicious. I love that 2 kind of layered cake. It's really, really good. I highly recommend you give it a go. I now want to document the story, so I've set up an area on my scrapbooking desk, and I'm going to record the story about the cake along with the recipe inside my kitchen planner. So this is what I'm going to be working with. Let's move these bits. I've got bits and pieces from the October What's Your Story kit, and I've also taken some pieces from the previous kit as well, last month's pumpkin cupcakes, as they do work quite well together. This is my recipe planner, my recipe file. I did set this up and have a chat about it a while ago, so I will link that up below for you. And I've been slowly transferring all my recipes, my favourite recipes, into this file. Now this particular recipe does have a story behind it, and I thought it would be really nice before I actually document the actual recipe, so I can keep it on here, because at the moment it's in a book only. I thought I would include the story to go behind the cake. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I've just taken the recipe file where the recipe goes from the planner, and this is actually going to become like a little scrapbooking type page, but it will have the recipe on as well. I've got 3 photos that I want to include. I've just printed these off on my sprocket. I've got the cake. I've got this is the B&B where the recipe actually came from. I'll tell you more about that story in a moment. And this is us 2 on Santa Monica Beach. It's in Santa Monica in LA. And I want to, obviously, now the main reason I need to transfer the recipe over to here. That's the goal here, but I want to actually have something with the photos on. As it stands, I'm not going to get all 3 on here, so I want to make something that I can actually include them. So I need to do that, and I need to cover the page. Managed to get the whole recipe. This is the recipe here. I've simplified it and I've put it onto this little card here. So I've got my ingredients, and it is a really basic cake, mixing up the dry, mixing up the wet, mixing together along with the sliced apples, pour it into the pan, combine the rest of the ingredients, sort of splodge that over the top. Did make a mistake here. I put the plus butter, and I've just put a little sticker over the top. So that's quite sweet, adds a little bit of colour as well. I now want a space for my photos and the story. I've decided I'm going to pop the photos inside the glassine envelope bag. It's a nice way of keeping them tidy but not filling the whole page with photos. We'll cover up the word directions, and I'm going to pop some paper over the top. Story about the cake. We basically, Aid and I went to LA 2013. It was January 2013. It was the fair for, I can never remember, what does CHA stand for? Creative Hobby Association, is that right? Crafts Hobby Association, maybe. So that's what it was. I was meeting up with the girls from Cocoa Daisy. We all got together. I'm going to use that strip there. Nothing's kind of going to plan today. I'm just having one of those days. I've ended up making this. I asked my son to hoover ages ago, and literally as I start making this, he starts hoovering. And I'm so behind today that I've just ended up creating it, and I thought I'd tell you the story in a minute. You know, just when you're having one of those days. This is the page. It's really basic. You didn't really need to see me making it. Put the paper there. I've got the little photos underneath, so that's obviously the cake. I've cut the strip there from, I haven't even got it here anymore, from the planner. And that's gone along the bottom. And then I've just decorated it with die cuts, the paper that I have got here, and the stickers. And then in the envelope, this is the B&B, the Channel Inn in Santa Monica, and that's a picture of us. That was January 2013, and this is the story that I'm documenting. So this place was so nice. It was walking distance just down to the Santa Monica beach, and it was about a mile's walk to Santa Monica Pier. and the actual place was so nice. I knew it was lovely when we booked it, but I didn't realise how lucky. Basically, the office for the B&B was a beautiful old kitchen, and the ladies that were working there, that checked you in, that looked after you during your stay, they baked all day. And it's like we got, and each room is like an individual like boutique room. We got taken up to our room. There was freshly made cookies on a plate with a handwritten note. I don't know about you, if you're a creative person, and probably most of you are that watch my channel, that is like wow. When you walk into a B&B, you smell home baked goods, and you've got a plate with a handwritten note in your room. They took us down, the larders were open 24/7 if you fancied midnight snacks. There were like glass cloches of freshly baked cookies and cakes, all just left out for you to help yourself. There was other goodies. There was like a great big fridge full of drinks for you to help yourself. From 5 o'clock in the evening, it was cheese and wine, and they just filled the dresser with beautiful foods like homemade dips. There was salads, there was meats, cheeses, biscuits, breads, other bits and pieces, and obviously Californian wine, and obviously soft drinks as well. And you just sat around chatting to other guests. It was so nice. And then the breakfast the next day, the girls were up. I say the girls because we only saw women working there. They were up baking again in the morning, and it was like freshly made muffins. There was cookies again, there was more cakes, there was frittata, but then there was also like sliced eggs, there was cheeses, there was breads. I think there was cooked if you want it, but we just went for a selection, and we stayed there. I think we had 2 or 3 nights there, and it was the best place I've ever stayed in. We did not eat out. We went to Santa Monica and had a coffee one day during the day, but apart from that, we just ate there, and we didn't realize that we'd be eating that much, so we didn't actually spend any money on food whilst we were there. It was so good. And as a memento, I bought the recipe book. I was asking about a particular recipe, something I was eating there. Oh, it was the dip, the artichoke dip. They've got us hooked on artichoke dip, which we now love. And they took us into the office. She showed us the recipe book, which I bought, and they were just so lovely. So I'm really glad that I bought the book. And this cake, like that B&B, is amazing. I highly recommend it if ever you're in the area. I will link up below so you can go and take a look. But that's my story, and I plan to fill that recipe planner with stories like this, because I don't know about you, but a lot of my recipes that I cook do have a story behind them. And I want to actually have a whole planner, which was what my old recipe binder was, that's fallen to bits. Lots and lots of photos with the recipe and the story to go with them. So that's what I'm up to now. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. Sorry if I've rambled on a bit, but I love the story behind this cake recipe, and I love this cake. I'd love to know if you try it. Please give me a comment below. Please let me know, do you have a favourite recipe or a particular recipe that has a really special story behind it? Why don't you document that as well? Let me know what your special recipe is. I would love to know, just obviously not the whole recipe, I don't expect you to go and type out, but just leave me a little comment and tell me what that particular, whether it be a cake or a meal, something like that, let me know what it is. Please leave me a comment, please say hello, and please do subscribe if you don't already. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.